Things are not good in the economy with the monetary system. Do we need to be scared, or do we need to be real scared? And will silver and gold save us? Don't worry. We're going to talk about $2,300 gold. Who said that? We're going to talk about $100 silver, and it wasn't me that said it. We're also going to talk about $600 silver. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But first, let's talk about this developing situation. We've got four big factors at play right now that could cause major turmoil in the markets, in the financial system, in the economy. The first thing we need to talk about is the fact that Jerome Powell explicitly said he would not bail out the Treasury Department. Now, that's big news. And we're going to talk about, should we even trust Jerome Powell? But in his most recent statement, he was asked, would you bail out the Treasury? Would you buy debt from the Treasury? And he said no. Well, guys, mathematically, there's no other way. I mean, that spells potential disaster for the U.S. government, because with all the massive amount of debt that the government has, and when we get to a point where mathematically the market can't absorb it, that means either the Fed steps in or rates go through the roof, which would exacerbate the rate problem and kill the economy even further. So that's the first big risk. But do we even believe Jerome? We've covered this extensively, right? Do we believe what he says? Do we believe what Janet Yellen says? I mean, don't forget 2.5 years ago, Jerome Powell was assuring us that rates would be zero through 2023, and we know that we're only halfway through 2023 right now, and rates are through the roof. Will silver and gold protect you? Will the price of gold and silver protect you, protect me, right? We want to be careful, because there are big signs that there's big, big trouble coming down the pipe. Everybody's paying attention to this one, and we're gonna simply describe what's going on in the banking system. We know the banking crisis that we had 8, 9, 10 weeks ago. We know what that did for the demand of silver and gold. Is that a thing of the past? Are we no longer needing to be concerned about the banks? Well, consider this: commercial real estate, right? We know what the rates going up did to the value of the treasuries the banks held, but the commercial real estate problem that the banks have, that's more of a lagging effect, because all those loans that the banks made to the people that wanted to build big commercial real estate. Wow, Snakebite, thank you for the super chat. That is so appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The banks loaned out all this money, okay, to developers, commercial real estate. That doesn't come due. That just now starts to come due. Let me read this to you. $1.5 billion, 1.5 trillion, in commercial real estate debt is set to mature in the next 3 years. So these developers that built these office buildings were borrowing money when the interest rate environment was 0%. Now we're in a 5%. So when they have to refinance those big loans going through, wow, Sassy Silver, yes, happy Father's Day to everyone as well before I forget. But when they have to refinance, and that starts to trickle in little by little, guess what? The rates have doubled. Guess what? The underlying value of the commercial real estate has crashed. So if the developer goes belly up and says, here, bank, you can just have the building back. The building's only worth 65 cents on the dollar that the bank loaned the money at. It's a big, big problem. Jerome Powell talked about it during his press conference. He said, there's a substantial amount of commercial real estate in the banking system. We do expect that there will be losses, but there'll be banks that have concentrations more than others, basically, and those banks will experience larger losses. The banking, hopefully you guys can see me. I kind of skipped a beat there. Am I back? Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me. I think we're okay. Okay. The Fed is not going to bail out the Treasury. All right. Yeah, lagged out. For some reason we had a disconnection. All right, cool. Number one, the Fed is not going to bail out the Treasury. That could be devastating because the math just doesn't work. All the debt the country has. Don't get me started because those guys have screwed us over, our politicians. Nonetheless, Fed's not going to bail them out, number one. Number two, commercial real estate is going to be a time bomb now for the next year, year and a half. Little by little, we're going to see more and more banks in big trouble. Number three, zombie companies. Same thing. These companies, so many of them, 10, 15, 20% of the companies out there were living off the 0% interest rate environment. They took out loans from the banks, hundreds of millions of dollars, right, that were going to need to be refinanced in 3 years or 5 years or 4 years. All those are coming due. And these companies are going to experience interest rate increases and interest rate expense increases that are going to bankrupt them. We just saw it with Pyrex. We saw it with, thank you, Sharon. Wow, you guys have been great. Sassy Silver, Snakebite, Sharon. Thank you guys for the super chats. That lifts my spirits and much appreciated. But the companies are in the same boat, okay? They're all gonna. It's like if you loan. It's like you, as on a personal level. Let's say you went to your bank and borrowed $200,000 3 years ago. The bank said, "Oh, your rate's 4%, right?" And it's a 3-year term or a 4-year term. Well, this July, you need to renew that loan with the bank, and the banker's going to say, I'm sure you've heard, but rates have gone up. Now, instead of a 3% loan, your loan's now 7%. Your interest expense more than doubled. You can't afford it. That's what's happening with these companies. Pyrex, Instapot, right? Bed Bath & Beyond. All these companies have so much debt. They were living off the 0%. That's the third thing. And this is going to create shockwaves throughout the economy. Any three of these scenarios. And when there's shockwaves through the economy and bank failures, guys, remember what happened last time we had a bank failure? You couldn't find silver. You almost couldn't find gold either. The prices shot up. People swarmed to join us. And I don't think we've even seen the beginning of what is going to unfold, possibly, right? We want to be prepared. Maybe everything will be okay. Maybe Jerome and Janet have the unlimited amount of duct tape and bubble gum to kind of temporarily, maybe I'm wrong, okay? I don't think I am. And I think when you look at the facts, we're headed for some potential very, very rough times, and silver and gold could be our ticket, our life raft, our safety. The final thing we need to talk about in regards to this is the fourth, right? We got Jerome's not going to bail out the Fed. We've got the banks in the commercial real estate, big time bomb. We've got the zombie companies that can't afford the higher rates. The fourth and final are people like me and you. Are you feeling it? Like living your life? I'm feeling it. I'll admit, okay? I'm feeling it. Living, surviving now compared to, let's say, 3 years ago right now seems much more difficult. 4 years ago, much more difficult. Everything is more expensive. I have twin 11-year-old daughters. Going to the grocery store is much more expensive. I just got my homeowner's insurance annual. It was like, and I'm frugal and I have a high limit because I don't have any debt. I don't believe in debt, right? And we were paying for a long time, like $800. Now it's $1,300 for the same coverage, right? Like everything is getting more expensive. So the fourth component is gonna, I'm telling you, in the next year, we're going to have a lot of our friends, a lot of our family that run into serious, serious financial trouble because prices aren't going down. Inflation's not going away, right? Oh, we only have 4% inflation. That's still high, and that's the official number, which a lot of people think is BS. Have you heard of personal bankruptcies, right? Because we know consumer debt, all-time high. Credit card debt levels, all-time high. And the rates being charged on the credit card debt, all-time high, right? Savings levels, gone. Americans are kind of I'm not going to use a bad word, are in deep trouble, basically. Financially, Americans are in deep trouble. So we're going to have a lot of people maybe losing their houses, losing their cars, right? I mean, the average car payment now is like $1,000 a month. Are you kidding me? I'll drive a junker. I guess I technically do drive. I have a 2005 Acura TSX that I drive. Susie and I bought it brand new 18 years ago. I still drive it. I just put a new power steering pump in it. We don't drive a lot, but, I guess it's an old junker at this point. I don't care if it starts and gets me where I need to go. $1,000 a month for a car payment. Not to mention what the insurance on that sucker would be. And in Missouri, here we pay a thing called personal property tax every year. And I know that would be probably like another $1,000 a year. So, people are in rough shape. And then, they get their homeowner's insurance, their electric bill went up, they go try to buy food, right? Maybe they try to do something for fun. I mean, it's just not working. So the fourth component we're going to see is a wave of personal bankruptcies. I hope I'm wrong, right? But people aren't going to be able to make it. People already can't make it. You know it. You feel it. Don't you feel it when you're out there, when you talk to, the girl that I work with who's awesome and her husband's a high income earner and she, she has 3 kids like me and she's like, oh my God, it's crazy. I mean, families, middle America is being decimated. Okay. And if we aren't prepared, right, like, get yourself out of debt. Get yourself in a position where maybe you have some precious metals. For me, it's silver. For you, maybe it's gold, whatever. But position yourself for safety going forward because, guys, it is not looking good. All of this is happening in an environment in the world. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on in the world because the world is at odds and is changing and is transitioning or morphing or I don't know what the right word is. Bifurcating. That's the fancy word. Splitting. Okay. You've got the East against the West. So on top of the fact that we're in such a screwed up position, now we got half of the world that doesn't want anything to do with us. Saudi Arabia, they don't want much to do with us anymore. China, Russia, Brazil, the BRICS, have you heard of that? Have you heard of August 22nd? I guess that'll be the next most important day in the history of the world for silver and gold. But half the world doesn't want anything to do with us. So we've already got a scary situation. I told you about those 4 things, right? We got the Fed and the Treasury, and that whole situation can blow up. We got the commercial real estate, that can blow up. We got zombie companies, they're going to blow up. And we got a bunch of fellow Americans who are in a financial position where they're going to blow up. But then on top of it, the world is splitting. The world is changing, and we got half the world that doesn't like us. And I'm not here to debate whether that's right or wrong and fair or unfair. It's just the reality of what's going on. Now, one thing we can say about those countries is they do love their precious metals, right? Brazil's a huge gold mining country. Mexico's a huge silver mining company, and Mexico's aligning themselves more with the BRICS countries. Saudi Arabia, right? The energy capital of the world. They like oil. They love gold. I think Russians like gold from what I understand, and the Chinese love gold, silver. The Chinese are making massive noise about silver. Massive noise. They're talking about the fact that we need triple-digit silver. They're talking about the fact that we need silver for the advancement of humanity. They're saying this is not just a monetary situation. It's we need the silver for the advancement of humanity. They were talking to some of the state-run media interviews with some of the guys that run the silver smelters over there. They're like angry at the United States, and they're saying, hey, what's the deal? We need silver. We can't provide enough silver to our companies that are demanding all this silver. And in the United States, they're kind of control the price. They're like, we need a higher price so that we can provide more silver. And they're like, in the United States, they determine the price of silver based upon interest rates and employment reports. The guy's like, we just need more silver for industry and for investor, so they are making a ton of noise about silver. And, I want to say this, as we head into what could really be challenging times for us, it's not you and me. It's not the everyday people that have created these issues, right? We are good people. I know you watching right now. You're a good, honest, level-minded. Sure, we're all greedy to one degree or another, but we're not sociopathic like some of these leaders that we have that are making moves and really sticking it to the middle class. The middle America, if you consider yourself to be middle, I consider myself to be in the middle range of America. Do you consider yourself to be middle? If you do, I want to see how many of you are middle, because I think we are, a lot of us, right middle in the comments, okay? I can't read everybody's names tonight. I'll read a few because my voice is going crazy right now. Poor, but not, yeah, lower middle. I'm in the middle, man. Middle, fast landing, middle. Sydney, Australia. Hello, KN. Hello, Neil. Hello, Coin Shop Chris. Oh, we got 100 thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 bells. One for each 10 likes. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you, Coin Shop Chris, for being here and helping with the channel. Everybody, please say something nice for Coin Shop Chris. Kristen in the middle. Tom Finn's in the middle. Paul Bueller's in the middle. Matt Rick is below poor. Ron, are you thinking there could be precious metal confiscation? No. And, Bald Guy, let me talk about precious metal confiscation. It's possible, but Bald Guy brought up a good point. They confiscated metal in the United States, Bald Guy Money, that is, by the way. You can go to his channel, tell him Ron from Ron's Basement sent you. He made a great video about this a couple weeks ago, and I made a video on my own about it but he came up with this idea. This is key to remember. In the 30s, Roosevelt, okay, we were on the gold standard. So if he wanted to make more money, he had to have more gold. So he took people's gold, okay? Now, if they want to make more money, they don't have to take your gold. They can just print it, okay? So does that make sense? And if they want gold, the sad part is they can just now do the reverse. They can just print more money and buy all the gold. So I guess, and that was what I believe one of Bald Guy's thesis was, that they're already confiscating gold because they can just print money willy-nilly out of thin air, right, and go to the COMEX and buy gold and silver. So in theory, they don't. Now, possibly silver, we could see confiscation if we get into a real shortage and, it's for the good of the country type thing. But I think the other big thing, but think about this, my friend, talking about confiscation. In the 1930s, a lot more people owned gold. Hey, thank you, Joe. You guys have been awesome with the super chats tonight. Thank you so much. Man, that is awesome. But people back then, a lot more people owned gold, and people were much more believing in their government. They believed in their government. They believed in the ethics much more so. Today, I'm not saying anything about us stackers, but your average silver stacker is more of a libertarian-ish type person, independent-minded. I'm trying to say this in a nice way, and I mean it in a nice way because I'm part of us. That's us. It's our group. I don't think there's, how would I say this? I don't think that today's precious metal stackers would be quite as happily willing to turn their metals in if it were requested by the government. But of course, you know, we always do everything our government tells us to do, right, guys? But great question. I haven't talked about it. Neil was bald till he poured glue on his scalp, and Thomas Tube says Neil was bald till he poured glue on his scalp. This is Neil's Han Dynasty. Neil, I hope you think that's funny. I think Thomas meant that as a good joke. Everybody loves Neil, the guru of platinum. Coin Shop Chris, as always, has been a great help here tonight, helping to moderate. Everyone, please say hello and thank you to Coin Shop Chris. Let's talk about $100 silver. There's a new interview out with Keith Neumeyer, the CEO of First Majestic. Yes, one of the larger silver mining companies in the world. He was one of the first guys to talk about $100 triple-digit silver. All right, he gets credit for that, and he's still standing by that call. He believes that we will see triple-digit silver. I believe we'll see triple digit silver. The Chinese are saying we need, hey, thank you, Chuck Robertson, for the super chat. That's much appreciated. Never expected. Thank you to everyone for the super chats and the thumbs up and the subscribers. You guys are awesome. But Keith sticks by his triple digit silver call. Okay. The Chinese are calling for triple. I'm calling for it, right? I take a lot of flack. I get a lot of heat from people, especially on my thumbnails, but I believe in $100 silver. Now, there's even a guy, there's another new video out, a coin shop owner in Utah. There's an interview with him. Sharp guy. He was like won the Coin Shop of the Year award several years in a row, okay? He's saying $600 silver, and he's saying that within the next couple years, and he's saying that that's a conservative estimate, So I don't know. I think the future is bright for silver. Sprott, you know Eric Sprott, right? The Canadian billionaire, Sprott Asset Management. Sprott runs the PSLV, the Physical Silver Trust, where you can buy shares and they buy silver immediately. That's the trust that BlackRock just bought a ton of shares in. So BlackRock owns physical silver, right? Unless they've sold some, but we haven't heard anything about that. Like 20 million shares, 170 million. Sprott just put out a report. I think it was Craig Hemke, super high respected analyst. He's calling for $2,300 gold by the end of the year. You know, and his thesis is this. This is interesting. It has to do with the Fed and when they pause. Typically, once they pause, then they will start to cut rates on average within 90 days. Now, I took a survey during the last live stream. Most people didn't think we're going to see an interest rate cut in the next 90 days. But statistically speaking, that's when it happens. When the Fed, gold and silver are going to go to the moon when they actually officially cut the rates. And I know we have been beaten down, guys. Silver and gold investors, we've been beaten down for the last year and a half, 2 years by a Fed that became increasingly more hawkish. And it did nothing but serve to beat down the price of silver and gold. Well, it didn't really beat it down, though, did it? I mean, wait a minute. Let me retract that. It suppressed the price of silver and gold from going higher because we still have gold right now. Let me remind you, within striking distance of an all-time high. Silver's at $24. It's got a little more ways to go, but that's still not a bad price. We got to realize, right? We were in this crappy environment. So it's hard for us to fathom the Fed cutting rates, right? We're so like, oh my God, they're never, it's never going to happen. All we do is get more. And then even when they pause, they're like, but we're still hawkish. We paused, but we're still hawkish. And the Sprott report talks about that. That's what they have to do. Excuse me. That's their game. Okay. Statistically, once they pause, within 90 days, they cut. Now, if we see, remember what I just talked to you about? The Fed's not going to bail out the Treasury, according to Jerome Powell. And he always tells the truth, right? Commercial real estate, all that's starting to flow through. Blow up. Zombie companies, blow up. I'm telling you, especially the zombie companies, especially the commercial real estate. It's like all the popcorn in the oil with the heat, and we've had a couple pop, but then they all start popping. Okay, I'm not going to go down that analogy on for a long time again. And then all the people, all the individuals who can't make ends meet, especially as inflation continues to go up, especially if we see any higher tick rate of rates higher. Look, let's face it. Think about this. If you're an individual, right, and you've gone through all your savings, which on average Americans have gone through all their savings, and now you're racking up credit card debt to live, how long does that last? I mean, unless your name's Jerome Powell and you can print more money for yourself, how long does it last? It doesn't last forever. There's a limit. The banks are not going to keep giving you more and more credit on your credit cards. Your name is not Janet Yellen or Jerome Powell, right? Only they get to do that. No, the average American's going to get screwed. I said it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use that word. I try not to use foul language on my live streams. The average American is going to get the short end of the stick, and that's the reality. So when all that starts coming through, that's when the Fed is going to have to pivot. That's when the dollar goes down and the price of gold and silver go uppity. And don't forget the COMEX and the LBMA, the registered inventory, the amount of silver they have in the vaults to satisfy all these. I heard Keith Neumeyer was saying in one day they'll trade they'll trade 1 billion ounces of silver, and for a whole year the mine output's like 800 million. Right? They are so leveraged, and we're getting down to like record low territory of actual metal in the COMEX and the LBMA. I got to tell you guys, I talked to the guys last night from the Silver Degen Club. Silver Degen Club. They're on Reddit. If you've never been on Reddit, don't be afraid. That's where Wall Street Silver, and this group was formed in the wake of some controversy, I'll leave it at that, at Wall Street Silver. And these guys are legit. I spent an hour on a call with them last night. Go check out the Silver, I think it's Silver Degen, Degen. These guys are legit. They are quality. They are not money motivated, okay? And they are really like taking up the fight for silver. Legit. Okay? Check them out yourself. You be the judge, but I'm telling you, look, I don't talk about products or sponsors, and I'm not sponsored. I have no interest in telling you to go check these people out. There's some unbelievable great information on the Reddit. You go to the Reddit and you put in Silver Degen, Degen Club, and you'll be blown away by the quality of the info they have there. And they're just really great guys. They know all about what's going on with the COMEX and the LBMA. And they've got some interesting ideas about how the silver market could possibly be squeezed again. I learned this from them, and I'm just blown. I had no idea. Did you know silver, right? The defense industry uses 20% of the silver output of mine production every year. It's almost, the defense industry alone almost consumes as much silver as investors. Investors are like 27% of the world's silver production, you and I, right? Stackers, right? By the way, I got this awesome bar last night from the Coin Corner. I think I showed it already. Thanks to Paul K. Nonetheless, the defense industry uses like more silver than almost any other industry. I had no idea, right? Everything's like, oh, solar. Well, solar is huge, and solar is getting bigger. This Chinese report, do I have it here? No, I don't. I can tell you because of photographic memory. The Chinese are saying, in the solar industry is saying that by the year 2050, and I know that's a long way away. Now, I'm not going to argue with you. Hopefully we'll be here, right? I said I'd make a video every day as long as I live. I hope I'm still here. I hope you're still here. Nonetheless, the solar industry could be using as much as 98% of the world's silver by that time. I found that to be astounding. I find you to be astounding. Don't worry. There's some fantastic reports out there. I don't want you to worry that that sales are down at the coin shops and the online retailers, right? Generally, that's what I'm hearing. Sales have collapsed. And they have. But don't forget, we had a massive uptick in gold and silver sales during the banking crisis. Okay, it's normal. Like when you throw something up in the air, it comes back down and then bounces back up. So don't freak out. The other thing to remember is, look, we're important. Stackers are important, no doubt about it. But we don't really control the price of silver. Industrial demand is much, much bigger. And in America, we like to just think like, well, what's going on in America is going on in the rest of the world. American demand for silver, is just a fragment of the overall investor demand as well. So don't worry. I mean, it stinks for the guys that are running the coin shops and sales are down, the price of gold and silver are down, but everything is going to be okay. Hey, Ron, the Don, what do you think about constitutional? I love it. Coin Shop Chris loves it. Oh, and speaking of which, yeah, sorry, Chris, I have a hard time watching. Somebody, let me talk. I like constitutional silver. I love 40%, even more. 1965 to 1969, 50 Kennedy 50-cent pieces. And the reason I like those is because at my local coin shop, I can get them for 5% over the melt, 5% over spot, basically. Whereas if I want to buy an American Silver Eagle or an Australian Kangaroo or a Philharmonic, I'm paying somewhere between 20 and 30% premium. So I do love constitutional 90% junk silver as well, but the premiums on that got really crazy. So I like it. I think that it will continue to even go up in value. I bought a bunch a couple years ago and second guessed myself, but I thought, these Morgan dollars are going to go up in value. There's a chance. It's like I'm getting them for close to spot, plus they're 100-year-old or whatever, so they could go up in value. So I love constitutional. It got a little pricey. I really like the 40%. Coin Shop Chris, somebody asked him a question. Coin Shop Chris, for those of you who don't know, is a regular guest on the show. He's helping out. He's helping out a lot tonight. And he talks on the show about he buys a lot on eBay. And somebody asked, why don't you buy from the shop where you work? And Chris, I hope I don't screw this up, Chris, but the reason was, and the guy that owns the shop understands it, like he's going to get the best price that he can. And if that's from the shop that he works at, or if it's on eBay, he'll go to eBay. And I know Chris likes Liberty Coin. There's a couple others I won't even attempt because my brain is now running on a little bit of slow-mo. But Chris, did I answer that correctly, or did I screw that up, Coin Shop Chris? Hello, Snakebite. Hello, Marshmaz. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Yeah, well, the other thing the Chinese are talking about, which is super interesting for silver, I don't know if you heard this. I want to say special thanks again to Chuck for the super chat. Special thanks to Joe Nalek a middle degenerate class, Deegan. Deegan, right. Silver Deegan Club. Shoot. And I think Sassy Silver and, oh man, Mary? I'm screwing this up. I apologize, guys. I'm bad with technology. Anyone who gave me a super chat, thank you. I'm going to leave it at that. It means a lot and it helps a lot. Chris, Coin Shop Chris, did I answer your question? Yes. Buy the cheapest where you can. Yeah. Chris, I know, has a great relationship with the owner of the shop that he works at, and the owner understands. Always, you want to buy from somebody you trust, number one, but you want to get the best price when you buy silver. I'm telling you, 40% right now, they're Kennedy half dollars from 1965 to 1969. They're the best deal going. And the other 60% of the coin is copper. So you're like, somebody says, you can say you're an environmentalist because you are stacking the two most green-friendly metals out there. Yeah, I think George Carlin was a silver stacker. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nickel stacking. Yo, yo, yo. Yeah. All right, guys. Questions. I'm ready. Throw them at me. This is your chance. All caps. If I missed something earlier in the chat, please forgive me. Please forgive me. You guys are cracking me up. I love silver. Premiums are coming down. That's the other news that we're getting right now because of the demand kind of dropping off. The other thing I want to touch on, I get this question all the time. Yeah, I'm overdosed on silver too, is, but if we have hyperinflation, like silver's not a smart thing. Oh, silver's not a smart thing to do with your money. And then here's the argument they'll give us. Oh, because if the cost of bread goes up 5 times, then who cares if your silver goes up 5 times? Well, number one, if that's the case, you've maintained your value. But number two, if bread goes up 5 times in a year like hyperinflation, I'm telling you, you are going to have more than 5 times increase in the price of silver. So you guys are great. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the super chats. That really, really helps out. Happy Father's Day. Okay, guys? And you know that I will see you more soon. Thank you.